Hey guys, Havions 45 here. Now, I need to stop doing this. You know, for about a year, I have been giving y'all a video once every week, every Sunday, having a video every Sunday. But for some reason, the last couple weeks, um, well, let's say last month, 6 weeks, whichever one you want to say, I have not been able to do that. And I don't know why. It's October, I should start doing horror stuff. But I am not being a good host. Um, I'm not gonna ask for y'all forgiveness or anything. I messed up. Uh but I am going to go ahead and do something else. I promise. I did say that I was going to do my C positive, well, not positive, but honest opinions of anime. And since, even though it's October and like I said, I should do spooky stuff dealing with anime, um I'm gonna just start this one. I'm gonna probably a little bit late and start doing a little horror stuff for October next Sunday. And this Sunday, I'm gonna come with y'all with, since I missed last week, two my C honest opinions and my D honest opinions on anime. And instead of doing it in two different videos, I'm gonna do it in one video, which means you get double the stuff in one video. That way y'all don't have to see like, what in the world is he talking about in this other video? It's already in the same video. You're welcome. Thank you for watching. Let's go ahead and get into this. Looking at the list of anime that I have Chro- uh let's start off. No, I'm about to say Chrono Crusade, but we'll get there. I have Chobits. Now, Beck, Chobits. Haven't watched neither one though. So yeah, that is also on my to watch list. But the honest truth is, I sat there and I tried to watch it, and I snored. Like in the midst of trying to watch the first episode, I lost consciousness. I really tried to. From what I saw of the first episode of Chobits, is a very slice of life anime. I can't really tell you exactly what happens in it. It's a girl with either horns or cat ears. It's like some kind of ears. I won't say horns, but I haven't watched it. I'm so sorry about that. Please forgive me. But yeah, I haven't watched it. I don't have no excuse for that. But let's go ahead and get to the next one. I was gonna say Chrono Crusade. I have watched it. I have that, and I had got it back when I was basically surfing ADV films to figure out what animes I wanted to get. Because originally, before all these other shows, I kind of watched like just Dragon Ball Z and whatever my friends told me about, which at the time I was downloading every week. And um, I started looking on uh, ADV films and anime works to see what animes I could get. And Chrono Crusade is actually one of the second box set that I have of anime. I want to say, yeah, it is. No, it's the first one because oh my god, that's why I did have it. I did it in pieces. I got every single CD pack for the first season of Oh My Goddess. And so, but um Chrono Crusade is about a nun. Um this nun had run into, and you can be interchangeable in this. A lot of stuff calls the creatures in this show devils, but demons, devils, same thing. Um but yeah, the point of Chrono Crusade is that you have this nun who, as a kid, her brother was taken away from her, And he was when he was taken away from her, he went to the dark side. And so to save him, she wants to become a nun and try and save her brother that she feels lost because she loves him so much. And she feels somewhat like it was her fault because somehow he got the horns of a demon and it kind of started putting him on the dark side of doing stuff. So Chrono is the name of her devil that she had. He is known for killing over 100 demons. It was like, yeah, over 100 or 1,000 demons, and um, with him by himself, that's a big feat. But what he did was he gave up his powered demon form because demons, if a demon loses their horns, which he did, which I think that's the problem, that her brother took Chrono's horns and put them onto his head, and it kind of drove him mad. But Chrono is powerless for the most part, but there's a way for him to reach his ultimate power by basically taking making a contract with a human. And so for the contract that he makes with um, a woman, or well, a human, he gets to get his ultimate power. The in exchange, that person that he makes a contract with loses a certain amount of their life. It's not really specified how long, but it seems like it drains a lot of life out of you. So because of that, uh, I forget her name right now. His nun is basically she's fighting demons and trying to save her brother, while at the same time trying to keep Chrono safe. And they make a lot of different friends during the story. Um, and it's real comical, but it's also tragic in a way because of how much she really wants to help her brother. But what's the old song? Don't save her. She don't want to be saved. That's somewhat the problem with him. He doesn't want to be saved. He loves the power that he has, and she just wants to save her little brother that has gone power hungry. Um, the ending is quite sad. If and I'm not gonna tell you the end just because I I like the show. So I would like y'all to try and check it out yourselves. If you ever get a chance to check out Chrono Crusade, I recommend it. It is a very good show. Um, Worth your time, and I'm not gonna say you money, because I don't know where you get your anime from. Will it be from Netflix or wherever like that? But it is something worth watching. It was something that I enjoyed immensely. Um, but yeah. Going to the next anime, we have Code Geass. Now, you'll hear Code Geass twice in this. The first Code Geass I'm talking about is the actual Code Geass. We're talking about Lelouch Britannia. Uh, Britannia is America. Like literally, it's an alternate history idea of Britannia being like, I won't say it's sort of like a form of the British Empire, but instead of there being like Canada, Mexico, Britannia owns, I won't say all of North America. And they have so much power that they have taken over Japan. And instead of letting the Japanese be their own people, they have made them second class citizens in their own country and made them and even took away their name of being considered Japanese. They're considered the 11s. So the 11s, basically, you just made them to a serial number, um, are just, they're basically to the people, the Britannians, they're trash. They're not worth anything. They live in small, beat down houses. They're suppressed by these uh, mech units that they call nightmares. And you do have people trying to rebel, but it's not really working out for them until you get Lelouch B. Britannia. No, yeah, Lelouch, Lelouch B. Britannia. I think that's right. But Lelouch is a Britannian. He is actually the ninth son of, is he's either the eighth or ninth son of the king of Britannia. And he was rejected. Him and his blind sister was rejected of by their father, and I won't say that they sort of ran away after the assassination of their mother. Um, and after that situation, they decided that they were going to go to a Britannian school in Japan. So their father has not seen them in a while. They were considered to be dead, but there was only, I won't say there was one person who knew that they were alive, but he was considered 11. He was a natural born Japanese, and he has he has accepted his role as being a part of the organization that the Britannians created. That he's okay with being 11 if it means that they will not hurt the um, Japanese people. And that's what he's thinking. Through his obedience, it will make sure that his people are safe. Not the case. And so you have, um, I forget. It's great watching anime, but remembering names for me is terrible. Uh, um, so, but Lelouch is basically, physically he is very weak, but mentally he is very strong. Uh he is basically an excellent chess player, and so he treats every fight that he comes into in Code Geass as a chess match, and he creates a persona named Zero to help him. Well, to help the Japanese into defeating the Britannians. One, because he hates his father, and two, because, well, I think it's just mostly because of one. I don't think that he really cared if they were considered 11s or Japanese, but he saw it as a need to end to break his father's way of doing things. And I can hear some people in my head arguing that, hey, he did care. And my mind says, really? Did he care? Because he he was in this organization for a while, and he just all of a sudden decided to do this. And it was mostly for his ends to like hurt his family because of what they did to his mother, and to figure out what exactly happened to his mother. And he did find out in the end what happened to his mother. And he dispensed the justice that he felt was necessary to have things done. Um, and I've told y'all, I think I said in A Honest Opinions, I do like action anime, and this was very actionly. He was playing what some people want to say 3D chess when everybody else was playing checkers. It was great. It was fun. Um, I If I'm talking about it, I'm probably recommend. And if I can talk in my mind this much about it, yeah, it's worth you watching. Check it out. It was on Toonami and also, and it is something worth watching. Um, even if you could even watch some of the movies that they have, which do tie into the anime itself, which takes me into the next Code Geass I'm talking about, which, excuse the way I'm gonna say it, it's called Code Geass Bokoku no Akati. Um, Akato. Okay, this one has nothing to do with Zero. This is a group of I want to say they're 11s. Yeah, they are 11s who got hold of some Japanese, I want to say. And they are literally they're fighting during the same time that Zero's going around. But during the original Code Geass, there was a time where Lelouch had got captured, and when he got captured, he was temporarily um, not himself. He thought himself to be someone else, and when that happened, some shenanigans. This happens right around that point. No one really knows how much time happened during this, but we know that it was possibly about a year or so. It was, no, I would say about 6 months or so that this happened. This happened somewhat during that 6 months. And the reason I say that is because Lelouch had his mind was brainwashing, believing that he was someone else during the show. Because you do see him at one point. You see him and his friend um doing a job, and they get in trouble because somebody realized who Lucy is. Um, but the way this one goes is that you have the same situation as you had before, where it is sibling. It's somewhat of a siblings quarrel. You have a brother who is high up in the battalion army, and another brother who um, sort of falls in line with the people who are trying to help the 11s, and they have some, I guess you say, new types of nightmares they're using. Well, while they're using these new nightmares, and I want to say they were German, but I could be wrong. Um, they might not. Yeah, I think they were German. The people that one of the brothers worked for was German, but the thing was about him that he had a gears just like everyone else, and I think he got his from C2 also. Like Lelouch did in the original one. But his gears work differently than everyone else's. His gears, because I think his brother had a time stopping gears, but I'm not sure. But it didn't work on him. But um the brother that was working with the Germans and hanging out with gypsies had a gears that kind of made to where he was able to mentally link with everybody that was in his team. So everybody was able to like become almost superhuman in the way they fought. They were able to communicate mentally with each other, something like that. And also, it had a slight side effect. No, yeah, it had a slight side effect to where he literally could see the people that worked with him that have died. Like he literally could hear their voices, feel their spirits, which sort of helps in the end of the show. Was it was interesting, but it was somewhat lacking in my mind to what I got in the original Code Geass. But it was something that I would suggest that you watch. Yeah. I'm suggesting stuff for y'all to watch. Yeah. Um, but yeah, it was something that was good. Now, the next anime that I have on my list is called Corpse Party Tortured Souls. I talked about this, I want to say last Halloween. Um, uh, if it wasn't last hour, it was basically during time where I was talking about places I wouldn't want to go. Corpse Party, Torture Souls is a place I wouldn't want to go to. It is basically regular Japan, but the issue is that when you deal with this one, the issue is that sh- Corpse Party deals with a bunch of kids that play with a toy, well, play a game where you have to think the same thing at the same time. And if y'all are able to do this and tear this paper doll at the same time, nothing will happen. If y'all don't, y'all will be taken away and punished. And basically, the main point of the story was that you had to figure out why this girl died. There was a little girl back at a kindergarten or daycare or something like that that passed away, and you have to figure out how she died. At the same time, she's the one trying to kill you. Like literally, apparently, several people have played this game, and she has killed a lot of them. So you see all the dead bodies of people she's killed. There are some souls that seem like they're there to help you that are actually trying to kill you. There are souls of people who actually did kill her. I mean, the soul of a person who did kill her, and it's just completely messed up. And she runs after you with scissors, and yeah, it's crazy. Uh, it is something that I would recommend. It's not even that long. I think it's like six, if not four, it's like 6 episodes. It's like within 6 episodes, you feel bad for these kids and they're gone. There's no redemption for most of them. Let's see. And the next one I have is, oh, everybody's favorite. It's been on Cartoon Network, Adult Swim, Toonami, whichever one you want to call it, several times. And this is Cowboy Bebop. Cowboy Bebop, if nobody knows who Spike Spiegel is, do you really watch anime? Do you really watch anime if you don't know who Spike Spiegel is? It, it's worth asking because Cowboy Bebop is one of the things. Like, if you haven't seen any other anime, you hear that beat of Cowboy Bebop, you better know what it is. And that's what's up. Cowboy Bebop is a space, I'm about to say soap opera, but it's a space adventure. Um, Bebop is the name of the ship, and I think that's the name of the ship. Yeah, we'll go with that. Um, so you have a ragtag group of people that come together to be basically uh delivery boys. They're basically workers for hire, trying to get whatever jobs they can get. Where there's mostly bounty hunting jobs, and they come up with some crazy bounty hunting jobs. Um, and it's good. There are times where I'm like bored over some episodes. I won't deny that, but there's a lot of them that do catch attention, and some of them I wish they would have had a second season, so I would have seen what would have became of. Because I still was wondering what was Jill Valentine's true background, because they hint to that she was cryogenically knocked out because she had a disease that there was no cure for, and then in the end you find out that you still don't. Jill Valentine is not her. Not it might not be Jill Valentine, May Valentine, something like that. But I know it was Valentine. Uh, because I feel like Jill Valentine is a character from Resident Evil. And I'd like to know what happened with Ed and um Einstein and all the rest of them. Because while Spike was a main character of the show, and I know his story came to, I would have liked to know what happened to the rest of the crew after his passing. You find out that uh Ed went and found his dad, which is, well, she. Ed was a girl. Ed found her dad, which was cool, but you know, I think Ed was on the level of, I think having a whole show about her would have been like having a whole Fully Cooley in space type thing. Where like, while Fully Cooley is technically uh supernatural space type idea, this would have been an actual space show. Um and yeah, it's, you are, like I said, following Spike as he is trying to figure out where his girlfriend is that left him. He finds her, uh, runs into Vicious, who is his old buddy, and they get into fights on different occasions, or they run to people that used to be a part of their past. I It is the one of the quintessential animes that is worth watching if you're a person who watch anime. And I guess to me, if you haven't watched Cowboy Bebop, you are doing an anime blasphemy, because how dare you not watch one of the greatest animes there is? Um, yeah. Well, that's the end of my C's, so we're going into the D's. You ready? Now, starting off with D's, I have Danganronpa. I don't know if I said that right, but Danganronpa, I have seasons 1 and season 3. I don't have season 2. Tried to find it, can't find it. Well, Danganronpa is the idea of hope and fear, I want to say. It's sort of like Green Lantern and Yellow Lanterns. Um, the school that they're at is called Hope Academy. And Hope Academy is trying to get away from, well, get rid of chaos. Because chaos makes a lot of people go crazy and do crazy things. And so what normally happens in these shows is that um this nicely split colored black and white bear comes up and captures kids that are supposed to be super kids. The super, like, one was the super gamer, the super golf girl, the super cook. All of them have like they're like geniuses in their own field. So these kids were supposed to be like the best kids you could ever run into when it comes to their fields. And so one was like super lucky. And so what happens is that there's a person who finds out how to make chaos a weapon. And so if you can put chaos into people, people do crazy things, and it make the world so much fun, she thinks. And so that's what she does. She creates fun. She gets a group of super kids into a room, and oh, I'm sorry. I said despair. It's between hope and despair. Because I have to remember that that's the thing that runs the whole idea. That everyone has this despair, that they lose hope. And once you lose hope, you're going to do some things that will basically hurt other people because of your despair. And so this one girl loved despair and would proceed to get all these kids into a room to basically force them into fall into some form of despair. And for the most part, it works. She does get the first group of kids to fall to despair because she killed the center of their hope. The one girl that basically was their main hope, main thing that gave everybody hope. She was like the student student body president for their group. And yeah, they killed her. It was so sad. But the rest of the but this, like I said, that was You find out about them technically in season 3, but in season 2, I mean 1, you run to a different route, and that's the whole thing. You're trying to figure out who the killer is, and it's a lot of a murder mystery for the most part. So you have a murder mystery. Everybody has a thing that they're not supposed to do. And there were several different. So you're trying to figure out who is the person who's killing all of us, and after you figure out who's, if you're able to figure out who's doing all this, you'd be able to get away. That's the whole point. Everybody else will be able to go free, but it's not as easy as that. In the first one, um, everyone's trying to figure out how in the world is people dying when your people are in a locked room and there's no one else there around them. You know, it's kind of like playing. I don't know how many of y'all play Mafia or anything like that back in school, but I remember it was be like you would have all the kids in the, because we played this back when I was in elementary. Everybody put their head down in the classroom, and then one person who was the killer would basically wake up while everybody else was asleep. It's not like Among Us where everybody has to do work, but like everybody would put their head down. This one person would point to who they wanted to die, and then the person who was instructing it would be like, wake everybody up, and they'll say, okay, this person's dead, and then everyone had to vote on who they think did it. And that's literally what most of us talk about. Once you get to the third scene, it got a little bit more refined, where like I was saying before, you have people who have things that they're not supposed to do. One was that a person couldn't run because they had these collars around their neck that was going to put poison into them if they tried to take them off, or if they um, broke what they're supposed to do. One person's was that they couldn't try to get away, so they literally had to make sure that no one tried to found the exit. One was that they couldn't. One person couldn't eat sweets, and it was like one person couldn't punch. It was so many different things. But Danganronpa, that was one of my first times of seeing a show that, and I think it might be a video game, or wishes and a video game. I think it's one of the first shows that I've seen that I was trying to play murder mystery when it comes to anime. I do like murder mysteries. I like them about as much as I like action anime. Um, but yeah, that's what happened, and that's what I'm sticking to. A newcomer to the group, one that I saw that came out this year, right around the same time that yeah, I'm not finna talk about that one. I'm about to say, I don't like getting hurt, so I put all my points into defense. Um, but it came out around that time. The name of this anime is called Darwin's Game. It is a great show. Darwin's Game is not a murder mystery, but it is an action thing. Imagine that you get a app sent to you by your friend. So you download the app, you activate the app, and then all of a sudden a snake comes out the phone that only you can see and bites you on your neck. Now you're part of a game of killers. Everyone in this game can challenge anyone else to play the game, and if you die, you basically turn into pixels and basically are gone. And wherever you're standing at or fall at also becomes pixelated. Well, not pixelated, but chunks of it is gone from where your pixels were. That's what happens in Darwin's Game. You basically become a part of the code of the game. But it's not like you just come in and you don't have anything. Every person has their own individual sigil. There's one person's ability that they're able to discern if somebody's telling the truth. There's one person's ability to have precognition where they can actually see what the future is if they continue with what their present course of action is. There's one person who has the ability to control chains that she has. There's another person's ability to be able to create stuff out of midair. Everyone has you. If you play this game, everyone has their own little um a built sigil, as they put it, that they're able to use different effects that you don't know what it is until you actually use it. Um, and everybody has their own thing, so it's fun to watch. It's also, if I'm doing a new list, this is not a world I want to be in. It's an interesting game to hear about, but not something I would want to do. And if they made this in real life, I don't think it's possible. I would not think of them being able to make a live action TV show of Darwin's game, because that's literally like, that is Darwin. Battle of Survival of the Fittest. No, we ain't doing it. Next one I have is Dead Man Wonderland. Now, Dead Man Wonderland is very interesting. I do like the show Dead Man Wonderland. It is the thing about Dead Man Wonderland is that you have this boy who was wrongfully accused of committing a crime. And because he was wrongfully accused, he tries to tell people that he's innocent, but no one believes him. And he's in this maximum security prison called Dead Man Wonderland. That basically, you're in prison, and everybody talks about how there's overcrowding in prisons in America, and besides there being overcrowding in America in prisons, you don't make money off prison. Basically, prisons um take taxpayer money to take care of prisoners. Well, Dead Man Wonderland has decided and figured out a way to deal with this. Yes, it takes care of its you taxpayer problem take care, but also the convicts are taking care of themselves. In Dead Man Wonderland, uh, it's an amusement park. Each one of the people that are in Dead Man Wonderland, you have to. I would like to say you have to do a heinous crime first of all, but that was never clarified exactly what the crime is that most of these people are in there for. But in Dead Man Wonderland, if you are there, you're basically there to do shows for all these people coming to the amusement park. You're there to pretend to be uh costumed animals and stuff like that. And you go off and you do this little like um obstacle course where the people are like, oh, that looks like so much fun and all this stuff. Not knowing that really what's happening during these games that they're watching you do on this obstacle course is that y'all are literally dying. And some people like, oh man, that looks so real. Because they're like, how would you really think of somebody killing somebody in real life right in front of you? No, it's all a game. But you never see that person come out again. So it's all good, clean fun for the people watching, but for the dead men in the amusement park, it is literally their death sentence. They are going to die from doing this. And all of it is just so you have the issue of overcrowding is taken care of because you're lessening the amount of inmates you have. And you also have the control over the inmates because each inmate that's brought in here has a collar put around their neck that they have to have this some kind of nasty candy that they have to eat. And if they don't eat it, this poison is going to come to their system and kill them. So it keeps them in line to make sure that they don't try to do anything to um attack the security guards, and I mean attack the guards or anything like that. Because if they do, they're not gonna get their candy and they'll just die. Or if they do try to do something to one of the guards can just activate the thing automatically. So there you go. But yeah, Dead Man Wonderland is something I wish they had a second season for. It was an interesting premise. Oh, because I skipped the other part. Besides that, the other thing about Dead Man Wonderland is that it's not just the Wonderland. It's somewhat of a petri dish for a science experiment because inside that's what I was talking about. The amusement park is the first level of Dead Man Wonderland. In the bottom levels of Dead Man Wonderland, you have a underground fighting arena where a select group of people who have learned how to um, control what they call their branch of sin has started are doing this underground fighting. And what your branch of sin does is that you can literally take the blood inside your body and use it as a weapon to shoot at someone, create knives, and or even be able to create shields and stuff like that. Or make it explosive. It's like whatever you want to do, uh, or whatever you figured out how to use your blood. That was your ability. And that's what people did with it. And that's actually the main point of it. You spend more episodes in the underground dealing with people prisoners trying to escape and the fights of different prisoners as they give different um, bird names because you had the mockingbird, you had the crow, the hummingbird, um, and yeah, and so and the main villain that killed because the main character in the show it which I can remember his name because I remember the villain saying his name because the villain says that his name is Gonta. So Gonta is in prison because the wretched egg killed his the wretched egg killed his entire class. And after the rich egg killed his entire class, he was framed into going to Dead Man Wonderland, which apparently now he has a branch of sin, which is the purest branch of sin that the group of scientists in Dead Man Wonderland has ever seen. Um, it was like as good as it was. It's like the strongest branch of sin that they've seen since there was like I want to say 5 or so years before there was a giant attack that well explosion that made a crater where they put Dead Man Wonderland at, and because of that, you have that's where they're fighting it. Um, yeah, it's interesting. Yeah. The next anime I'm gonna talk about is oh my goodness. Okay, the next anime I'm gonna talk about is Demon King Daimyo. Demon King Daimyo is a lot of stuff. It is a roller coaster of stuff. It is so itchy. I mean, like, uh, if you're a guy, it is a anime that focuses on trying to get you to see girls, like girls' clothes being torn off, uh, girls in just their panties, girls possibly without their panties. You don't know what you don't see, but yeah, there's just like a lot of girl, and it all comes down to this is a school made of magic, sort of like Harry Potter. And in this magical world, everyone has power. Well, everybody can do whatever job they want to do. But, well, not every job they want to do. But with everyone having magic, they have to go to a school. And so, Daimyo will say, goes to this school and each person who comes to school has to um go to this. Instead of having a sorting hat, they have a sorting crow that smokes a cigar. Like literally, you have to stand in front of him and he'll tell you what your future job's going to be. And so that's what he wants to be a I won't say like a paladin, because the job that he wanted, he had to be like super pure, like no crimes put against him or anything like that. That's what he was expecting. And he said that he would work hard to do that. Well, everybody else going, and it's like, you're going to be a doctor. You're going to be a businessman. When it comes to him, it's like, the job your future is Demon King. And everyone's shocked. And everyone's like, just so, like, what is he going to do? And so everything he does is misconstrued into him being Demon King. What you come and find out is like, from the way the story goes, there is kind of like in the story of everyone's like, there has to be someone to continue the legacy of being Demon King. And so in that narrative, he was the one chosen to be the Demon King. But through some stuff, he's not he does not act like a demon. And so in the end, he's able to rewrite the future that was written for him. And he still gets into trouble over stuff. But what can you do? But yeah, it is something that I would suggest if you just trying to look at girls. If you're just trying to see how many ways they can tear clothes off of girls and like just basically, if you like toast ikibaki toasting, you'll probably like this because they're about the same way. Like, how many different ways can we have clothes come off a girl? That'll do. The next anime that I have, which is also dealing with demons, is Demon Slayer, which is a newcomer. Demon Slayer is about this boy who leaves for the town, leaving his mother and sisters and brothers at home to go do some work so he can make money for the family. When he makes it back home, he finds his entire family slaughtered except for one of his sisters. So he decides to try and take his little sister down to back into the city to try and get her better. And in the midst of that, she tries to kill him. She apparently is a she has fangs. She starts growing. She starts trying to eat him, and a demon slayer comes and saves him. But he doesn't want the demon slayer to kill his sister, so he proceeds to fight the demon slayer. And his sister, saying that he is trying to save her, like stops the demon slayer from attacking her brother, and the demon slayer holds back. He then tells them where they should go. They go there, and he is trained by a ancient demon slayer master in the ways of how to become a demon slayer, while his sister, uh, I would say sleep, but it's more like she hibernates for who was like 6 months or so. Yeah, I want to say like 6 months to almost a year. She was asleep while he went through all the training of becoming a demon slayer, and finally in the end becomes one, and starts to look for the demon who killed his family. In the midst of this, also I should say that um part of his he had a special ability before he became Demon Slayer, which was his nose. His nose is like a bloodhound. He can smell. He can smell different smells, and he basically from how his family was killed, he could smell the blood of the person who did that to them, and is hunting down that person to figure out where in the world they're at. Um, it is Oh yeah, and because he did that, he's able to. That's what he's doing through the whole show. And you come find out the person who killed his family was like a big demon boss. He has hordes of demons working for him, which are so scared of him and basically have a curse put on them. Like even if they say his name, they're going to die. They can't even say who they work for. They just have to be like, well, yeah, you better just kill me because I can't tell you who he is. He can always already hear that I'm talking to you, so he probably don't just kill me now. Um, but yeah, that's how that one goes. It's hopefully it should be a second season coming soon because it is a good show, and I think it is coming in like if it's not coming this fall, it's coming in the wintertime. I'm fairly sure. If not that, I think there's a movie coming. Yeah, I think it is a movie that has come out or is coming out that I would suggest checking out because I haven't checked it out, so I don't know what to tell you about it yet. Um, the next anime I'm gonna talk about is called Desert Punk. Why? Because he's Desert Punk. Desert Punk is about this kid who is a bounty hunter. It seems like it's an apocalyptic world. The whole world is now a desert. Everybody is trying to live their life in this desert land with limited amount of water and food. And Desert Punk is one of these what you consider bounty hunters, soldier for hire, that goes out and tries to do jobs for people for whatever money that he can get. But his mate, if you can give him a set of boobs, he will fall in love with because that's really what he is. He's a horn dog that wants somebody to grope and do other stuff with. Yeah, forget y'all. Yeah, he just a horn dog. Um, but during this thing, during the anime, he does get into a lot of situations. He gets a girl to work for him that learns all his ways, and in the end, he's just a jerk. Desert Punk is the same jerk at the beginning of the show that he is at the end of the show, and it I had never saw the end of, so I was curious to see what it was. And so once I found something in, I was like, oh, and I haven't watched it since then. Um, but it is something that is if you want something that's in the same style of like Trigun and stuff like that, where you have like somewhat like Western type stuff with a little bit of high techness, it's the show for you. Um, Somewhat high techness. I'm not gonna say like they're shooting lasers and stuff, but it's like a lot of repel. He goes around a lot with his I'm about to say repellent with his rope that basically pulls him around everywhere like that. It's like watching Spider Man or Batman go around. Most more like Batman with his grappling hook because that's mostly what he's using and stuff like that. Smoke bombs and he has his face covered with this giant thing to help keep his face cool and all this stuff. Because as long as his body's cooled off, he's able to stay in the sun for a while. It's also brown, so he kind of blends in with the desert, so people don't notice him sometimes, which works out. Um, Let me go ahead and go to my next anime. The next anime is wasn't originally anime. it's a video game that was adapted into an anime, and that is uh D- DMC, which is Devil May Cry. Devil May Cry is a good anime. It is basically it's like a slice of life, but it's like many adventures of Dante from Devil May Cry, while he tries to live his life because he never has enough money to keep his business running, apparently. So he has this girl that works with him. And I want to say that it probably takes place sometime in the middle of the original three games, but I'm not sure. Um, but you do see him and some of his colleagues that you know. Um, and it's something interesting why, because I think it should happen sometime after the second one, because a lot of the characters are people that you know from the first and second games. Um, it's something worth checking out. Um, I would say if you don't, uh, I don't know what else to say. I mean, like it's Dante, big sword, two two pistols, that's him. I can't say anymore. Like a lot of the stuff that happened in it, basically the first episode and the last two episodes are the main parts. The rest of it is sort of just filler. It's just a bunch of episodes of like. So this happened while he was taking care of this little girl. Like the first episode showed you him having the little girl. Then the rest of the episodes, until you get to the last two episodes, is literally just yeah. That look. This is what he did while that little girl was staying at his house, or he had that little girl staying with him. And then after you get to the end, the little girl's gone. She went to live with her mother that she couldn't find for a while. But that is literally all that happens. Um, I have here um Digimon season 3 and Digimon season 4. Um, and these are two different things. Digimon season 3 are the ones where you hear about digivolutions. Instead of them digivolving, it's like, yeah, all the kids know about Digimon being Digimon on TV, so they made a card game out of it. And I think they tried to actually create the card game in real life. So it was a ploy to try and make game that you could play with another card game to go with the Yu-Gi-Oh and Vanguard and Magic the Gathering and Pokemon, all these other shows that was going out during that time. Try and make money off the trading card game. Oh yeah, and chaotic. Um, so yeah, um, it was Digimon season 3 is all about that. So you have three kids that are going out, and I think I've said this somewhat in my Digimon video. But three kids who have their own Digimon that they can basically use cards to accelerate their abilities and make them stronger. Um, it I I like the idea, and then you get to Digimon season 4, where the kids actually become the Digimon. And to be honest with you, I like that too. Uh I know a lot of people don't, but I did. Um I did like seeing some of my old favorite Agumon, um, Ikakumon, and all them. And because I liked them. It took me back to remembering the first season ones, and they were the ones I enjoyed. But I did like having the ability in season 4 to have your own, become your own Digimon. It wasn't just like, this is my partner, we're going to work together. We have to figure out how to work together. And in season 3, it was kind of like two of the people have always had been with their Digimon for, I don't know if it was months or weeks or months, but they had been friends with their Digimon for a while. So it was kind of interesting to watch them um, work together with their Digimon. And then you have the one kid who had his Guilmon that he just, like, he literally created Guilmon and he's trying to figure out how he's supposed to work and everything like that, which was interesting too. Um, so yeah, if it's Digimon, I recommend it. Um, Digimon, these two Digimon, I would say, do have some of a draw to them a little bit. Especially when you're talking about Digimon season 4, where, and I think it's called Frontier, where you're becoming Digimon, because you have all the kids, and then the kids have to find their spirit, have to find not just their, they have to first find their first Digimon human spirit. They have to find their Digimon B spirit, which is the other half of their Digimon spirit. Then they have to get the other, because there were only like 6 of them, and there was actually 10 spirits on both sides, 10 beast spirits, 10 human spirits. So you have them having to fight those the other digital spirit, well, yeah, digi spirits. Then after you have them fighting digi spirit, then you have to worry about another Digimon who's trying to destroy the world that they call Lucimon. And Lucimon was supposed to yeah, not Lucimon, Beelzemon? No, it was Lucimon, because Beelzemon came out trying to stop him and failed. Um, but yeah, Lucimon was trying to destroy the world, and you're saying these people, these spirits that they're supposed to be using, are supposed to be these ultimate spirits that no one should be able to beat, but they're completely getting torn up, and they're getting whooped so bad that literally they have to create a brand new evolution of merging these Digimon together to beat two people that should have been the same level. But at the same time, season 4 kind of gets you thrown off, because it's like you don't really know what not what century is. You don't know what the evolutions are, because they go to the 2 tier, because like at one point it seems like the human spirit is like your champion level, and your beast spirit is your mega evolution, I mean ultimate. So once you get there, then you had only 2 people get to the mega evolution, which is, I guess, normal, because you always have like your Greymon and your Garurumon become their ultimates. But it, you're not really sure about, and it was kind of weird that they were the only 2 people, well, that no one else knew on how to, out of everyone, sorry, out of all the people that they fought, there was only 2 to 3 megas that they ran into. Like that's the one part that I had problems with season 4. And season 3, they were doing pretty good, but outside interference stopped them from being able to do what they really want to do. Um, and that's all I'm gonna say about that. Now, the next anime I'm gonna talk about is Do You Love Your Mother and Her Two Stripe KO, I think it is. Um, this is a joke of a show. It is literally a joke to me. And I'm not saying it because that's bad. It's because literally the point of the show is this son is hoping to be chosen by this game to test it out. It is a revolutionary game that literally brings you into the world that a world of this not animated world, but this video game world. And through you being in this video game world, you're supposed to get stronger and see how strong you can become. Kind of like if you were in isekai. But the issue with this is that not only does it bring him, it brings his mother. And you come to find out that the whole game is the idea of trying to bring you closer to your mother. Like, there's nothing said at all about a dad in this. It's just like whoever comes into this thing comes there with their mother. And so with the mothers being there, they this one guy's mom who he feels like is suffocating him comes with him, and he's like, all the stuff that you would think for a regular gamer would be understood makes no sense to her. So it's like this guy who starts them off is like, okay, I I have three swords for you to pick from. Pick one. And so her son picks the son picks a sword. He's like, yeah, I want this one. He's like, okay. So she walks up there and she picks the other two. Out of three swords, he gets one, she gets two. And he's like, that's not right. He said you had to pick one. She's like, no, he didn't say you had to pick just one. He just said pick a weapon. So I did. And so from that point on, she just becomes busted. She just keeps upgrading and upgrading. And the point of it, like I said, is that you're supposed to get close to your parent, but a lot of the kids who come there are feeling suffocated by their mother. And so because they're feeling suffocated, they keep trying to get away from their parent. And one parent actually, from this, she becomes a sorceress, and she is enjoying it so much that she doesn't even care about her daughter anymore. She just wants to gain power and become super strong. So like her connection with her daughter gets less and less powerful. I mean, like, they don't get close like they should. So, and that's why I say it's a joke. Like, the more you watch the show, the more it's all about the mom. Like, no one really has to worry about doing anything because that one mom can kill just about anything in the game now. But like at one point. And yeah, uh it's something that most people probably um wouldn't want to deal with. I love my mom, but if I was brought into a world where I could play a game, I yes, I would worry about my mom, but I wouldn't want to be in the first place with her. I mean, cause like in my head, I just think about my stepdad, and he's like game, cause he makes fun of me and my little brother for playing video games sometimes. Cause you like games, cause to him games are not a big deal. So, um, but do you love your mom and her two hit combo, two hit multi strike or something like that? It's it's something that's worth watching. Um, I don't know if they'll do a second season for, but it's interesting. The next anime that I have, another newcomer that I can't wait for January to come for the second season of it to come out is Doctor Stone. Doctor Stone is um so amazing. It is the idea of what if the whole world was turned to stone? Like, not the whole world, but everybody in the world was turned to stone, and 5,000 years go by, and one person comes back, and they figure out how to bring other people back to life during that time. Well, of course, they're going to bring back people that they know first to because they're lonely. And how many people talk to people outside of their social circle? You know, it's hard for a lot of people to talk to people outside of their circle to begin with. Well, that's what happens to Senku. Senku comes into, like, wakes up first. He starts trying to make to where first he can survive, and then he realizes that he needs somebody to help him. So the first thing he does is bring back one of his friends that he knows is uh, fairly strong, because he's not a Senku is not a muscular guy at all. So he brings back this guy to help him to bring people back. But the guy had a girl that he was interested in, and so he wants to save her. So they figure out how to bring people. First, they have to figure out how to make them survive. Then, how they're gonna bring other people back. They figure out how they woke up, how to get to where they're able to wake up other people, and they're going to go save his girlfriend. Well, at that point, when they're going to save his girlfriend, a bunch of lions from the zoo come and start attacking them. So they're running. They're running their tails off with several not tigers, lions chasing after them. And so with these I keep wanting to say tigers, but it's lions. With these lions running after them, they decide the best thing for them to do is to they um decide to wake up this guy who they knew was stronger than the other guy, named Sukasa. Sukasa was called the high school prime ape. Um, yeah, the primate high schooler. Um, and it made perfect sense when it did. They woke him up, and the first thing he said was, "What's the situation?" He didn't ask what happened or anything like that. He's like, "What's the situation?" And Senku's like, "We're surrounded by lions. They're going to eat us." Gotcha. He came out and with one punch killed the male lion. And I think he killed like two more of them. And the rest of them ran off. He literally, and that's what made him really. But then you start getting to a situation that is, um, you don't know where he stands. Like, Senku wants to save everybody. He wants to bring back everybody who was frozen because it's basically the right thing to do. Tsukasa doesn't. Tsukasa's like, okay, adults corrupted this world. They the ones who made this place so toxic because of how adults decide to do stuff, their corruption. Kids are still pure. We understand how to keep stuff simple. We don't need these adults to mess up this earth again. That's why that was divine. That was a divine strike that turned everybody into stone, so we could start back over. So what we need to do is just kill all the adults and start back with the strongest kids and all the kids, so that we can have a uh, new start to this world. And so he proceeds to break statues made of adults. And yeah, Senku is not okay with that. Senku tries to stop him, and Tsukasa tries to kill him, and Tsukasa has to fake his death to go ahead and continue his research, and that's where we ended up. Senku was able to find a village of people who have been around for several years. They are not technologically advanced. They are very much natives, still in the Stone Age for the most part, but they do know how to uh, handle themselves. And so he is working with them to try and advance technology. and Tsukasa is trying to rebuild his with basically muscle heads. A lot of people that you see that he has working for him right now are teenagers. Some of them are thugs that he figured that he could use because they were too. They look like they're adults, but they were adults that were too dumb to work for themselves, so they're basically henchmen. And then you have other ones that look like they're leaner and smarter, and they probably know what they need to do to be helpful to Tsukasa than anyone else. And that's where we kind of leave it at, because now when the second season comes in, I think it's in January, um, you're going to see the Stone Wars, which is going to be when I don't know which one's gonna start the fight, but when Tsukasa and Senku's teams go against each other. But if you don't like the action of it, it's just interesting of watching how from basically nothing, Senku's able to create stuff that is relatively normal to us. Like this, right now, every time I record these on my cell phone. Like just the creation of a cell phone, all the detail and processing that is needed to make it. Like they try to make light bulbs and uh them making Japanese katanas. I mean, like all the work that they had to do just to make one phone possible was like wow. The chemicals that you have to realize is not everywhere. Um, it was simply amazing for the most part. Um, and yes, that means if you want to say yes, I put my sample approval of you should watch this. I can't believe you haven't watched at least one episode of Dr. Stone yet. You should be ashamed of yourself. Blasphemy. Um, and I believe this is because I feel like I probably done bored y'all with these by now. But I'm down to my last one. My last anime that I'm talking about is Dorara. If you don't know what Dorara is, it's okay. Dorara is a continuation in a way of Bacano. Um, somewhat. Um, with it deals with modern times. With Bacano, it was like the 1940s, 1950s, something like that. But with might have been 1920s. But with uh the rah rah, it is roughly modern times because it was like in 2000 was made, and you're dealing with gangs. You have the Dollars, which is a online gang that is trying to um, basically be the good guys of the world, and then you have the Yellow Squares, which they were just a regular street gang, and then you had the blue scarves, I think it was. Um, no, the blue squares and yellow scarves. So the blue squares was a game that was basically wiped out by the yellow scarves. And so, yeah, you have these three friends that are all keeping a secret from each other that is so sad. It's so sad seeing these friends trying to keep their secret from each other. But that's where the main story from. And it's kind of like you see them, and then you meet your friend Celty. Celty is, and I had never heard this before, even though I play Pathfinder, which they are in the book. She is a Dulagon. I mean, yeah, which is a creature that basically carries their head around like there is no head. Well, their head is not on their neck, but it's actually they carry it in their arm. And I don't remember what the exact reason for a Dullahan um having their head off, but it's not like I don't believe it's like um Jack. I mean, I forget what the headless horseman, but it's like literally, their for some reason their head's been taken off. Um, And so Celty is, because she doesn't know her head, she does different odd jobs for people, deliveries and stuff like that, until she can find her head, hoping that one day she'll find it. She has a young scientist that's in love with her. She has a friend named Shizuo who is very bad anger issues. But I love Shizuo. He is the greatest well, uh, bodyguard that you can find in the show. This man's been stabbed, shot, and he still walks around like it ain't no problem. But and he is also one of the strongest characters in the show, which is why he's a freak. Which I'm not saying is a bad thing, but it's because of the person that he always goes after that calls him a freak all the time. It's the guy named Isaiah. And Isaiah is the biggest jerk in the whole show because he just loves to make trouble. And he thinks that Shizuo is such a freak that should die. He just wants to kill Shizuo. He tries to find. He's tried to put him in jail. He can't get rid of Shizuo. But the thing about Shizuo is that he has anger problems. Like I said, he constantly is trying to be a good bodyguard, but people want to pick on him. And then his temper happens. He breaks his cigarette, steps on it. I mean, throws it to the ground, steps on it, and then he pops the person or he lifts a vending machine. And one time he literally kicked a car down the street like he was playing soccer to make sure that somebody didn't shoot at him. But it's so great watching Shizuo and Desire Still Jerk. And if you want to know what a character I always wanted to try and cosplay from Durarara has always been Simon. Simon is a black Russian. I have never seen a black Russian before, but he's a Russian guy that's black that owns a like sells does advertisement and helps us make sushi at the sushi place. Like him and his friends are Russians that have a sushi bar in I won't say Shibuya. Um so it's so funny watching them though. But yeah, it's just it's not just a story of just one person, but it is the story of these three friends trying to keep their secrets from each other and living their lives. Um, but having some troubles with doing that. And it's understandable that people have problems with, keeping secrets. And Celtic knows a lot of stuff, but the person who knows more than Celtic is Isaiah, and Isaiah is not telling anyone. Isaiah just kind of teases everybody and puts fire onto, I mean, oil on the fires or wood on the fire, whichever one you want to say, onto all the troubles that they're having in their friendship. So that's Isaiah for you. And Shizuo is just a good guy. He's just trying to um survive for the most part. So yeah. I those were my honest opinions. C&D honest opinions. Um I hope y'all enjoyed them. Oh, I did promise, and I don't remember if I did at the beginning of this. I don't believe so. I said that I'll look up who are the top three right now of shonen um for the shonen. And the truth is that there is no top three right now. There are a lot of supposed possible top threes, but there's none that have actually been confirmed. Um, I did see one thing that said that if it came to dealing with mangas per se, One Piece is always going to be number one. Well, not number one, but One Piece is It was one of the big three, and it's staying right now as the big three. My Hero Academia is very, very strong, strong contender for joining the top three right now. And Black Clover is also a possible top three, but they're also not been confirmed as one of the top three. And one of the people who are kind of hanging around, and it's questionable if they are one, is Attack on Titan. But yeah, you know, and oh, I'm sorry, another possible one that people say is a one that is a also one that could stand to be one of the top three is Boruto. And most of the only reason that Boruto is part of the top three, if there was one, is because he's a continuation of Naruto. And this is manga wise. There's anime wise. There's has not been a list of the top three. A lot of places I see is saying that the top three used to be Naruto, Bleach, and One Piece. And before that, it was um, One Piece, Dragon Ball Z, and Naruto. So it's somewhat like it's questionable who will be the top three now because there's a lot of good animated, good shonens that are coming out right now, and so yeah, what can you do? Um, I hope y'all enjoyed this, and I will be back next Sunday. Hopefully, I'm not gonna say I'm gonna promise because I ain't gonna be a liar. Um, but I'll be back next Sunday with something new for y'all. Hopefully, and I'll catch you later.